Term 1, week 2. Welcome back from the beach. It's going to be awesome. Using that momentum, moving into tribes. It's going to be great. Here we go. This is our week that we're really launching what the expectations are for tribes. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 4 days a week, when you have that 15-minute chunk of time for tribes, that's when you're going to meet one-on-one with your prayer partner. And during that time, you are going to pray with one another, and you're going to do the daily devotion, which my goal is I'm going to have those on a PowerPoint for your teachers to put up so that everyone can read them so we don't have to kill so many trees because, God made trees too. We're supposed to be good stewards of what he's given us. Boom. But during that prayer partner time, there were bookmarks that were in your notebook. Those are just a guideline. You can use it if it's helpful. If not, then don't worry about it. But there are 3 expectations that I have for you. Number 1, don't waste this time on third-party prayer requests. Pray for yourself. Ask for help for you. Number 2, do not gossip. Do not slander. Do not. And number 3, don't avoid your heart issues. Don't avoid what God's working on in your life. Take a minute to make sure that we highlight our core value number 1, because every week we're going to go over a core value, which is truth of Scripture. We believe that Scripture is absolute truth. So when you answer your discussion questions or when you're with your prayer partner and your prayer partner might come to you with a problem, the truth is found in Scripture. Okay? It's not found in our impressions or our feelings or our intellect or anything else, because those are all finite. It's honestly just found in Scripture. And so if you get to a point where you're stuck at something, it's okay to say, I don't know. Let's look this up in Scripture together and we'll find out. That's actually the most beautiful answer that you can give somebody, is the promise of looking it up and coming together to collaborate and find truth in Scripture. Okay, so you should be finding out who your chief and shaman are for your tribe very soon. In the meantime, you need to go ahead and be looking for a week 5 guest leader, because we're on week 2 now. So week 5 is coming up. Guest chief and guest shaman. So these are just people who are going to fulfill the role of chief and shaman during your Wednesday tribal council. And it's so that they can serve not only their leaders, but the entire tribe. Memory verses. So the first week of school has gone by. It's been a little bit crazy. The first week you were supposed to memorize Colossians 1, 3 through 5. And you're supposed to do that during your prayer partner time, working together on that. So if you guys haven't done this already, after this video, split into 2 groups, guys and girls. Every single person is going to go around the room and say their memory verses. Like girls in their circle, guys in their circle. If you do not have your verses memorized, there's grace for that. We set the expectations bar high, the grace bar higher. So if you as an individual do not have them memorized, you will read them from Scripture. There's also a printout in your tribe packet. You're just reading verses 3 through 5. And that's so that next week you've heard it a few more times. And when we add to it the following week, which this next Wednesday will be adding verse 6, you'll be saying 3 through 6, the verses next week. That you're caught up and you're still saying it and you're hearing it, and everyone else around you is doing the same. So this week 3 through 5, next week 3 through 6. The following week, I believe, is Colossians 1, 3 through 8. So we memorize cumulatively. There should also be a song coming at you soon. Hopefully by Friday, we shall see. Whenever your chief and shaman are announced, I will be giving them information to give to you. This is the first week of discussion time for your tribes. A lot of you haven't had a chance to really get into those discussions because, well, we've been at the beach. This week, you should have a few questions, prompt questions for your discussion. Next week, you're going to have, after you finish week 1 of the devotions with your prayer partner, during your tribe time, there will be 3 questions that align with that. And so that will be in your tribe packet. But just a little heads up, our expectation is for it to be a distraction-free zone during discussion time on Wednesdays. So that means cell phones put away, don't be eating your lunch early, generally be an active participant. We expect for everyone to contribute to the conversation. So if you're one of those kids who doesn't really like to talk, maybe you go ahead and get your answers out really quickly. And if you're one of those people who doesn't mind talking or tends to to talk quite a bit, be a little bit self-aware, and rein it in for us, okay, so that everyone else has an opportunity to share. We also expect for our timekeeper to make sure that everything goes according to time. So you're there to help the chief and shaman start on time so that we can end on time. And then don't forget to work on your project for this term because we're on week 2 and you have a project that's due by week 6. All right, last but not least, weekly challenge. So last week you were supposed to find an attribute of God, maybe a verse that went with it, and find 5 minutes alone with God just to pray about that and ask Him to remind you that He is who He says He is. So whatever your attribute was from Scripture, He is who He says He is. He is kind, He is just, He is merciful, He is sovereign, whatever that was. I want to make sure that today you have time to discuss that with your group. What did you pick? Why did you pick it? And did God help reveal that to you this week? This week's weekly challenge is I want for you to write down for yourself and discuss next week with your group. How have you seen God show up in your life this week? Maybe you learned something new about Him at Beach Trip. I don't know, fill in the blank. How have you seen God show up in your life this week? And I want you to write that down. Okay, so term 1, week 2, here we go. Fresh off the beach trip. I am so excited to be on mission with you guys.